Hello In the Hoop fans, my name is Philip and welcome to an all new In the Hoop tutorial. Today's project is one just recently suggested by one of our viewers. It's these super adorable clutch zipper bags, and I'm going to teach you how to make these fully on your embroidery machine. However, before we get into the video, if you're new here, it would help tremendously if you would subscribe, like, and leave us a comment. And if you're a regular viewer, I'd like to thank you for watching. Please also hit the like button and let us know what you think about this project or what you'd like to see in the future. Or if you have any tips, tricks, or things that can help others, please leave those in the comments below. As you'll notice in this video, I read and take those suggestions and it helps me as well. Our community is growing and it's just wonderful. So back to these zipper bags. This tutorial is going to show you two different ways that you can make these zipper bags. The first way I'm going to show you to make these zipper bags is super quick and easy and is done in just one embroidery hoop. However, this method will leave exposed stitching on the inside of the bag. I don't really mind this as they can be made really quick and they still turn out amazing. The second method, as you can see, will give you no exposed stitches in the zipper bag on the inside, but does require a little more work as it has to be done in two hoops. But as you can see, the end result is totally worth it, but takes just a little more time and patience. Either way, both of these methods are fun to make, and you'll end up with one of the most useful and functional in the hoop projects we've created to date. Remember, as always, you can get the files that I use for these tutorials, plus tons of other fun In the Hoop projects over at my website, allinthehoop.com. I have all the formats that work with any embroidery machines, including Brother, Viking, and so on. Also, one thing to note, if you choose to make the clutch zipper bag with no design or quilting on the front, it will automatically be fully lined with no exposed stitching. It's only the designs or quilting on the front that result in exposed stitching. And one last thing, this project does require a 5x7 hoop. So with all that being said, let me first show you how to make our done in one hoop clutch zipper bag.
We're going to start by preparing the fabric and the materials we need for the project. We're going to need to cut 6 pieces of fabric at 5 by 7 inches. These are going to be 2 fabrics for the outside of the bag, 2 fabrics for the inside lining, and 2 pieces of batting. Next, we are going to cut 4 squares of fabric, 2 from the front fabric and 2 from the lining fabric. Each square should measure 2 inches by 2 inches square. And then we also need a zipper. Use a nylon zipper and it needs to be at least 9 inches long by 1 inch wide. Next, we're going to cut a ribbon about 5 inches long. You can make this longer or shorter according to your preference, but 5 inches is a good place to start. Now that we have all our materials ready and set to the side, we're going to hoop up tearaway stabilizer into a 5 by 7 hoop. Then let's load our file onto our USB, put it in the machine, and turn it on. Next, load up the file on the machine. Then connect your embroidery hoop that has our tearaway stabilizer on it to the embroidery machine. Run the first stitch, which is going to be a die line to show us where to lay fabric. In fact, this die line is going to show us where to lay more than just fabric, as it also maps out where to lay the zipper and some other parts of our zipper bag. When the die line is done stitching, remove the hoop from the machine and take it over to our workstation. Next, let's grab the 2 by 2 inch fabric squares that we cut earlier. We're going to fold each square directly in half and then iron them so that the seam lays nice and flat. In fact, I highly recommend you iron all of the fabric pieces, as it'll make your projects turn out so much nicer. Back at our workstation, we're going to work with the die line that we stitched onto our stabilizer. Take one of the 2 by 2 folded squares of lining fabric that we ironed in the last step, and we're going to tacky spray it to one of the corner rectangles on the die line. Make sure the open side of the fold is facing inward and the fold side of the fabric is facing on the outside of the die line. Do the same for the other side, making sure again to have the open side facing in. These pieces should hang just slightly over the line of the rectangle. Next, grab your zipper and we're going to place it within the 2 lines running horizontally across the top of our die line. You'll notice the zipper fits right in this shape. Next, let's start to secure it with tape. Place a piece of tape on the left side holding our folded square and zipper to the stabilizer. Next, open the zipper to about the middle. And then let's add tape to the right side, holding the fabric and zipper in place. I also like to add tape to the top of the zipper to keep it secure so it doesn't move during stitching. Next, let's grab the squares that match the fabric you'll use for the outside of the zipper bag. And again, open side facing inward, let's use tacky spray and lay this folded square directly over the pieces under the zipper. And then we'll take our other folded square and do the same by spray tacking it down on the left side with the open side facing in. This is how it looks when ready. Now let's take the prepared hoop back to the embroidery machine. Back over at the machine, we're going to reattach our hoop that has our zipper prepared. Run the next stitch, which will tack down the right side of our fabrics and zipper. Now run the next stitch, which will tack down the left side of our zipper and also the fabric square. Remove the project from the machine and take it over to our workstation. Here we're going to lay out 3 fabrics for our zipper bag, starting with the fabric you want for the outside of the bag, laying right side down, aligning it with the bottom of the zipper as shown. Next, lay over your batting, aligning it with the bottom of the zipper as shown. Then finally, lay the bag lining fabric over the batting. All 3 fabrics lining up with the bottom of the zipper. You can use tape to secure it all to the hoop to ensure it stays in place during stitching. Once done, return the hoop to the machine. Reattach the hoop to the machine and then run the next stitch. The next stitch is a tack down that is going to hold all our fabrics to the zipper. When the tack down is finished, remove the hoop from the machine and take it back over to our workstation. Back over at our workstation, we're going to flip down all 3 fabrics. Next, I'm going to secure the fabric to the hoop with a bit of tape so it all stays in place during stitching. Now I'm going to return the hoop back to the machine. Let's reattach the hoop to the embroidery machine. The next step is going to be where we will stitch out the portion on the front of the clutch zipper bag. I have several different zipper bag designs available, so you'll want to reference the included PDF color sheet for the design that you choose to make. This will show you what colors to use for the pattern that you are making. The design on the front of the bag will start here and will end at 1 stitch before the end of the entire project, meaning stop before the last stitch. Once the pattern on the front of your zipper bag is complete, remove the hoop from the machine and take it over to your workstation. Back over at our workstation, we're first going to attach our ribbon. Fold the ribbon in half and then tape it just under the zipper on the left side, leaving a bit of it to hang over past our fabric on the left side of the project. Next, take your second piece of fabric for the outside of the zipper bag and lay it right side down over the project, this time lining it up with the top part of the zipper. Next, lay the batting over this piece, again lining it up with the top part of the zipper. And lastly, lay the lining fabric over these with the top along the top of the zipper. Secure it with tape if you'd like and return it to the machine. Reattach the hoop to the machine and now we're going to run the final stitch. The final stitch is a tack down that is going to hold the entire project in place. Run that final stitch now. Once it's complete, take the project back over to our workstation. Back at our workstation, we're first going to remove it all from the embroidery hoop. Next, we're going to cut closely around the outside of the project, leaving about a 1/4 inch around each side. Here's a tip we learned from a viewer comment in our last video. Cut the corners at an angle like I've done here. This will cut down lots of bulk on the corner, and the finished project will end up with corners that look neater and sharper. Next, let's remove all the stabilizer from the back of the project. After all the stabilizer is removed, you'll see the zipper that is halfway open from where we open the zipper halfway in one of our first steps. This is the opening that we will use to turn the entire project right side out. Carefully turn the project right side out and clean up any stitches that need cut. You can use something like the end of a paintbrush to push out the corners until everything looks the way that you like it. And here's our zipper bag, all complete with a working zipper. It looks amazing if you ask me, and I can't wait to share this with someone in my family who I know will just love it. Check it out. Isn't it awesome?
So that's how fun and easy it is to make our done-in-one hoop clutch zipper bag. It turned out awesome, and I'm excited for you to make one for yourself. If you want to take this in the hoop project further, follow along with the next part of the video where I'll show you how you can make the same clutch zipper bag on your embroidery machine without any stitching exposed on the inside. Let's take a look at that now.
We are going to go through the 2-hoop no exposed stitches version fast. Much of this is the same as the 1-hoop version tutorial we completed before this, so please watch that in its entirety. First, load up the first file and fill a 5x7 hoop with tearaway stabilizer. Add it to the machine and run our first stitch that will put a die line onto our stabilizer. Next, you'll cut all your fabrics and materials to the same specification as in our 1-hoop method. Go back and watch that part of the video to see what you need. Lay the fabric for the front of your bag over this die line that we just stitched and run stitch number 2. This stitch is a tack down and will hold the fabric in its place. Next, we're going to stitch out whatever the design for whatever zipper bag you chose to make. You can refer to the included PDF color sheet with your bag to know what colors of threads to use. To make this video quick, our front design is just a quilting pattern that only requires one thread color. Here we are letting the quilting complete, but if you are making a bag with a design, complete the design at this time. Here's our quilting for the front all completed. Next, you'll remove this from the hoop and remove all the stabilizer. Next, cut along the top of the rectangle that is stitched into your fabric from the previous tack down. Leave the sides and the bottom as is. Now load up the file for the second hoop and then fill another 5x7 hoop with tearaway stabilizer and run the first stitch, which adds a die line to the stabilizer. Take it to your workstation and spray tack the 2x2 lining squares folded in half. Next, the zipper, and then spray tack the other 2x2 squares for the main fabric. It'll look like this when done. Make sure the zipper is halfway opened. Take it back to the machine and run stitches 2 and 3. These are tack downs and will secure the zipper portion. Take your fabric from hoop 1 with the design on it and line up the top line that we cut in the previous step with the bottom of the zipper. It should be right side down and upside down. Make sure it's completely centered and then tape it down to secure it for stitching. Add the batting fabric and then the lining fabric. You can secure these with tape also. Run the next stitch on the machine to tack it all down. Fold the fabric down and tape in your ribbon under the zipper. Lay over the project the outside fabric right side down lined up with the top of the zipper. Now add the batting fabric. And finally, the lining fabric all lined up with the top of the zipper as well. Secure it with tape if needed. Back at the machine, run the final stitch that tacks it all together. This is the final step. You can remove it from the machine and cut around the project closely and reverse it. As you can see here by our finished project, we have a fully lined bag with no exposed stitching on the inside. You did great, and look just how fantastic your creation is.
So that's it. Very easy and totally cute, right? These bags are awesome and you can do so much with them, and customers, family, and friends really love them. Plus the fabric choices and ribbons and zipper choices you can use to create these make the creative choices endless. I would love to see what you come up with. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and please remember to give me a subscribe, a like, and a comment if you haven't done so already. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next In the Hoop machine embroidery video. Thank you.